This is an interesting one. It says, Craig, I have dismissive, avoidant attachment style. Well, that's a mouthful. I'm already going to say I don't believe this about you, my friend. I have dismissive, avoidant attachment style with unconscious, nonverbal ideas and fears of closeness and suffocation that on the surface make me think I don't need close relationships, and that make me numb and close down emotionally when I experience love and closeness. And I just want to point this out again. When we do this with others, there's a good chance we're doing it with God. There's a good chance we're doing it with ourself. And by that I mean our inner child and our divinity. And our divinity. From your perspective, Craig, of both psychology and spirituality, how can I heal my deep, old, insecure attachment style? This one I have a simple answer for you, my friend. A willingness to feel what's within you. So whenever we are dismissive or avoidant, these are qualities the Buddha spoke about. This is, basically how the ego acts. If there's something that doesn't feel good, the ego will dismiss it, will avoid it, will put up a wall, will run, will numb out, will avoid whatever it is, will fight. And so the great question is, can you feel more what's within you? Can you feel more what's in the room? And this is great work to do deep in the belly. And just notice deep in the belly, when I feel more, does the thing I'm feeling that I'm also afraid of, does it kill me? Does it actually harm me? The reason we avoid, we shut down, is because there's this unconscious fear that whatever it is going to kill me. The reason we don't agree with our wife and just fold the towels the way she wants them folded or whatever it is because there's a fear there. A fear that if I let her have the way, I'll feel suffocated and I'll die. Which is completely humorous if you really look at it. If you live with someone, if you're in a relationship with someone, I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume you love them. I'm going to assume that there's love here. In order to love fully, in order to be awake fully, you have to be willing to feel and experience everything. Everything. You must be willing to feel your partner's emotions and your own. But if you get very nervous, say, oh my God, there's an emotion that's arising within me. Basically, you're putting a wall between you and them, between you and life, between you and God, between you and yourself. And again, this is the opposite of oneness. Oneness feels and experience, allows, acknowledges everything. Everything. Oneness feels, allows, acknowledges everything. In order to experience oneness, you have to be fearless. If you weren't born fearless, you have to learn to be fearless. And the way we learn to be fearless is through a willingness to feel that which makes you uncomfortable. So my father, he was a funny character, but whenever we said anything confrontational, he would just get up and walk out of the room. And when I was a teenager, I might chase it, be like, hey, I'm talking to you, Dad. Hey, stop. And then he might explode, which is basically showing like, we're not going to talk about it now. Because first I tried to leave and then I exploded. So he avoided and then attacked. And so again, this is just fight or flight. So he started with a flight and then ended with the attack. And we got the message, okay. Okay, Dad doesn't like confrontation unless he's the one doing the confronting, and that's normally because he would have been in control. And see, we have to be willing to look inside and notice, are these things within my own self? What do I do when there's confrontation? Do I run? Do I avoid? Do I numb out? Do I go and try to be spiritual? That's what I tried when I was young. I'm just going to keep meditating. I want to rise above. But I wasn't rising above. I was running away to a very transcendent place. And then what I noticed when I was done with the meditation, the problem was right there waiting for me. Hey, I'm there. I'm here. Waiting for you. And there's a reason for that, is because this world, God is inviting us to ground the transcendent into form, to bring divinity fully into form, to welcome it into form. And that means we have to be conscious and awake in our actions. And what I found on the path is most people don't want to do this. Most people want to sit back and receive vast spacious awareness or divinity or bliss, freedom. They want to receive from God or receive from their true nature. But they don't want to give. And the funny thing about God is very much like a drug dealer. You know, the first one's free. Let me get you hooked. And then I'm going to make you work for me. I'm going to make you work for me. I'm going to have you selling for me. And so what God does often is God shows us something great, something incredible. We get a glimpse of our true nature and we get hooked. We say, oh, I want that. And so you start giving your life to the pursuit of this. And then one day you wake up and you realize, oh, for me to truly get what I want, I have to work for God. I have to live the truth. Live the truth. I can't just sit back and receive forever. That's not how it works. What you'll find is you'll get to a stage of awakening where your path just stagnates. And the only way forward is through giving. Giving of oneself fully. And this whole thing it's a great setup. You know, God is just looking for worker bees who are willing to share the truth. Share the truth. And I don't mean God is just wanting you all to be spiritual teachers. God is wanting you all to be servants. Where you're sharing your heart, you're surrendering your heart in acts of forgiveness with your partner's children. You're forgiving your mother, your father, your sisters, your brothers. Forgiving your boss. You're forgiving yourself. God's wanting you to be warriors here on planet Earth. And see, one of the reasons people don't heal in relationship is because they're eternally waiting for their partner to give them everything. So I want my partner to serve me. I want her to bow to me. This is how you fold the towels. I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to me. But how many of us are willing to be like St. Francis, say, how about I listen first? How about I try to understand my friends, my family, my community first, before I ask them to understand me? How about I give them peace first first. Now, the reason St. Francis could do that was because he awoke to his divinity. So instead of looking for his needs to be met outside of himself, he went within and said, oh, Christ and I are one. I'm a child of the Most High. I am a divine being. There's something good here within me. I'm going to fall in love with that. If you fall in love with yourself first, and I don't mean falling in love with your big fat ego, I mean falling in love with your divinity and your really small inner child ego. So I want to be clear about that. So you fall in love with your small inner child egoic nature, your humanity, and you fall in love with your big fat divinity. When you do this, you become a very good partner. None of us will ever be a perfect partner. You can ask my wife. She has many complaints. She tells me each day the ways I let her down. But because I love myself fully, I say, okay, my job is to serve her. My job is to serve my children. My job is to serve you. And the beautiful thing is, if we're humble, if we open our hearts and allow ourselves to be a clear conduit, you can allow this grace to move through you. So it's not me, the ego, serving you, because I would do a poor job, worse than I'm already doing. You invite this grace to move through you, this light to move through you, this love to move through you, this transmission of innate divinity to move through you. Then you become a pretty good partner.